Hello and welcome to Palace Fan TV for Jim and Jay's final say post Aston Villa win. Palace win 2-1 with a late goal from Bakary Sakho. I'm Jim. It's my first game of the season. I missed the first two games because I was at the Edinburgh Festival doing a show for the first time ever. Surprisingly, people actually turned up and watched the show, which was good. So I missed Norwich away and Arsenal at home. This is my first game of the season. I got back from Edinburgh on Friday night in time to go to Selhurst on Saturday. Unfortunately, I also had to move house, so I spent Saturday morning moving. I'm now in my new house, but as you can see, it's still a bit of a mess. I've not really unpacked as of yet, because I moved and went straight to Selhurst to watch Palace beat Aston Villa. Now, an important win for Palace, a good win. That's 6 points from 3 games. Especially with Chelsea, Spurs and Man City coming up, so 3 very hard games. Palace had to beat Norwich and had to beat Villa in the first run of games, and they did. So that's very good. Job done. But it was a job done not necessarily in those convincing of ways. In the first half, Palace were probably unlucky not to maybe score, but probably lucky not to have conceded. Bonahor missed a couple of chances that a striker of a better calibre probably would have scored. It just wasn't really clicking for Palace in the first half, and I'm not quite sure why that was. Pardew went attacking again with Cabaye and MacArthur as the two in the middle, and then Punch in front, and Sakho and Wilf as the wingers. Murray up front. Murray didn't really get in the game today. You thought it might be the game for him against someone like Villa. But it didn't really click at all for Palace going forward. And I don't know if that's because it was two sort of ball-playing midfielders in the middle and you know, there wasn't an enforcer in there like Jednak. When Jednak did come on late on, surprise, surprise, Palace looked way more solid. And at times in the first half, Cabaye and MacArthur did get caught out. Punch was playing a bit deeper. You know, supposed to be playing attacking number 10, but you found him back on the halfway line quite a lot. And then they'd get caught out and Villa would break, and Jack Grealish was always sort of breaking with the ball. Thankfully, due to Bonahor not being very good, they didn't score, and it was 0-0 at half-time, but it really wasn't that convincing, and everyone sat around me in the Homesdale was not necessarily that impressed. We were wondering maybe it's because Cabaye was playing a bit too deep, and in these kind of games you need him a bit further forward. You know, here MacArthur were very good on the ball, but neither are an enforcer. And maybe in some games you just need someone like a Jednak or a Ledley in there. You know, when Jednak came on, we did look better. But fair play to Pardew, because he noticed this, and at half time he changed it around, and we were all saying at half time, right, what's going to happen? Because something needs to change. You know, we weren't really sure what it was, but something needs to change. And on come Jordan Much and Dwight Gale, and Daly worked his socks off, but never really quite got any chances. But Much was excellent. Really, really good, and I didn't see him at Norwich, didn't go to that game, but in pre-season I thought Much looked very good, and he pretty much changed the game. He's a very intelligent player, and he was starting to find that space that Puncham wasn't doing in the first half, that space between the defence and the midfield of Villa, and he was just very good at sort of ghosting into the right areas and using the ball well, and when he could, turning and running at the defence. So he certainly made us play a bit better in the second half, and I thought in the second half Palace were better. And on top, there's a lovely header from Scott Dan to score. And then Dan got the assist for Sakho as well, which was great because my mate Andy, who I sat next to, was saying for most of the game, Sakho, he wasn't convinced by him. I wasn't necessarily either. Saying, oh, he's a championship player. And about 30 seconds later, he curled that one in the bottom corner. So fair play to him. It was his debut. He did look like he might take a few more games to settle, but certainly showed he's got a lot of strength about him and a lot of passion. You know, he seems to sort of really want to get involved, and that's good. His first touch necessarily maybe wasn't quite there yet, but certainly going to be an interesting acquisition. So I thought Cabaye was a bit quiet, and MacArthur, you know, MacArthur had his usual kind of hustle and bustle game and was very good, but it just was a game where things weren't really clicking for Palace, and I don't really know why that was, but it's good to see that Pardew did change it around, and you know, Palace got the result, and the result they needed. Villa's goal was down the other end for me, so I don't know what it happened, but it looked like an own goal apparently. Not sure who scored it. The winger though, something went wrong down the left, because I don't know if Suarez was caught out, but suddenly it was punching one-on-one with their winger, and he sped past him way too easily and squared it into the box. And that needs to be sorted out. Suarez looks very good going forward, but maybe defensively needs to get a bit more organised because he was getting caught out a few times. But it was, these games are going to be difficult. It's going to be a very competitive Premier League, and teams like Villa aren't going to come to Selhurst and roll over. So Palace are going to have to work hard, but it's good to see that we are working hard enough to do that and getting those bits of luck. We had that disallowed goal for MacArthur being offside. Now, apparently on replay, haven't seen it again. I feel like Arsene Wenger in this video. Haven't seen it, but it was offside according to Twitter and to replays. But it was right in front of me. The lino did not flag for it and was happy to give it, and the ref gave it. And the ref only then chatted to the lino to ask what was happening. And it turns out the fourth official, by ear, and it was the fourth official that overruled it, because the Villa players surrounded him and demanded it be chalked off. Now that sets a bad precedent if we're going to have goals overturned because players are hustling referees to get decisions. I think referees are only human. They make bad decisions. We've had them, at Palace last week with Arsenal where Coquelin should have been sent off. I don't think you can have players influencing officials and getting decisions overturned. So even though it was the right decision, that maybe that was justice, but I certainly think it sets a bad precedent. But anyway, there you go. That's my thoughts on Palace's first game. My first game of the season. Palace's second game at Selhurst of the season. Win against Villa. Here's Jay from the Eagles Beak. If you like these videos, don't forget to subscribe and comment below with your thoughts on the game and drop a like as well. That'd be great. And see you again soon. Bye.
Hello guys, welcome back to Palace Fan TV. You're seeing the return of Jim and Jay's final say for this season. We're going to be with you for the rest of the season, hopefully. Unfortunately, we missed the first 2 games of the season, so we'll briefly touch on those, or I will anyway. You will have already seen Jim, and we're going to cover the Aston Villa game, which went to this afternoon at Selhurst Park. So, but start of the season, travelling to Norwich, great away win. I mean, travelling to a team that's just come back to the Premier League, they want to get off to a good start. Could have been a tricky game, and to be fair, the 90 minutes it was a tough game. There was no two ways about it. We rode our luck in places, and we had some decisions go our way, which we don't see very often, and I think we've suffered from that since that game, I have to say. But we showed a touch of class after the decision to wipe out Cameron Jones' overhead kick, which was arguable to say the least, but we showed a touch of class to get into winning position and score that third goal to go 3-1 up in the game and effectively seal the 3 points, which it makes a big difference in this division when you have that touch of class available in your side, and Kambaya for me is that touch of class. He scored that goal, but it was a build up as well around the goal. It was an excellent, well worked goal. So we came back from Norwich with our first 3 points of the season, which was well received, and we took on Arsenal at home last Sunday in front of Sky TV cameras. It was a game, for me, the top 4 this season. I've narrowed it down from season 4, as you may know if you know me or you've watched any of these videos. I used to say before, and then top 6 or 7 sides it'd be difficult to get points out of, but for now for us, we should be able to get points out of these top 4. But if we don't, not a problem. The rest of the Premier League, though, is fair game for me. We should be beating the majority of teams in and around us, below us, and looking to achieve or strive to achieve to catch the ones just above us, outside the top 4 even. That's just a general feeling we have now about Palace, in that, how our transfer process has happened in the summer when the players we've signed, we want to look forward and make the step up. So the feeling is exactly that. But we played against Arsenal, and good side Arsenal. I was probably more confident playing them if they hadn't lost their first game of the season to West Ham. There was no way they were going to lose the second game of the season as well. We played well. I came away, didn't feel as though we had lost a game. I thought we performed well. We had a few debutants in the team. We had a few players a little bit off the pace, but so did Arsenal as well. Joel Ward was hopelessly exposed. I can't really blame him entirely on his own performance, because I think he was left open an awful lot. But I think he was involved in both of the Arsenal goals. Unfortunately, second goal perhaps he should have got up higher. But I'm not here to criticise individual players. It was a decent performance, and I think we can take or we will take a lot from that game going forward. So on to today's game. The reason we're here, Villa at home. I mean, this game last season was a terrible affair. It really was. I remember down in front of me in the Arthur Wake there was Scott Dan came and it was in two minds what to do with the ball. Lost the ball to Benteke. Benteke still had a lot to do, and scored the only goal of the game. And Villa went back to Villa Park with the 3 points, which was kind of a travesty because we had a lot of the game, a lot of chances, we just couldn't finish. That was our big problem last year. Big difference today is that we could get across the line. We could, we had a lot of chances, a lot of possession. There were parts of the game where we thought it was going to go a very similar way, but we hadn't conceded. But the very bizarre incident in the game was a goal that was given by the referee. After a lot of conversation with the linesman and the Villa players, it was disallowed, which I've yet to see it at the moment. I still can't see from the naked eye and watching the game being at Selhurst whether it was actually disallowed. And somebody's told me it's handball by Gal, so rightly disallowed. But I have a real problem with how it was disallowed, really. If it was rightly so, then I hold my hands up, fair enough. But I think allowing the players to do what they did, surround the referee and linesman, gives players in the Premier League a licence to do that if they see that. If they see a referee's changed his mind, if it is rightly so, then fair enough, but it's still the wrong way to go about it. However, the performance was decent. We started the game with Bakary Sakho playing, made a debut for us after signing from Wolves. Balassi, unfortunately, really sad news that his stepfather passed away, so our thoughts go out to him. Obviously, I think we missed him a little bit today, but Wilf, worked hard out wide, and Sakho started in the middle. I think the first half we really suffered from not having anybody out wide right. As did Joel Ward a little bit from left him a fair bit open, and that first half was a bit of an odd one. But yeah, as I mentioned, the goal that was disallowed, Gal came on. Jordan Much came on at half time, as did Gal for Murray and Wilf. Jordan Much, underrated player. He looked fit in pre-season. He did do a lot of good in the second half. He helped us get on and get the win, to be honest. A lot of players criticise him, can't see how he fits into the team, but for me he did a good job, and Gale won a lot more up front than Murray did in the first half, I have to say, and I fear that will be the end of Murray. I have a real feeling that, however sad that might sound, that may well see Murray move on, possibly to Bournemouth, but hopefully that's not the last we've seen of him. Hopefully we could see a bit more, we got a goal, which was an excellent goal from Scott Dan, a deserved goal this time, and it makes amends for that decision, his mistake last season. Really, great to see Scott Dan towering header into the net, and again it was deserved because on the balance of play and the way we had attacked in the second half, I think it was just reward. But you don't get everything you should in football or in sport, so. Moving on, Villa equalised. The new signing for Villa, Traore, very quick. He had a couple of attacks on Soiree out wide, and he absolutely skinned him, and he was very lively. Again, I haven't seen the highlights of the game. I can't tell if it was a Delaney own goal again for a second game in a row, or whether it was Traore himself putting in a net. But it beat McCarthy, and it was 1-1, and kind of feeling it was going to be one of those days again. But towards the latter stages, Sakho impressed me actually. He went out wide left in front of Soiree, who's Senegalese player as well. So Senegalese down the left there attacking, but Sakho picked up the ball. He's not a lightweight at all. I can fully see him running through some players actually this season, the way he plays and picks up the ball. But he got the winning goal, which was great. It was a mistake from the back line, Villa, which Scott Dan pounced on actually. Funnily enough, he'd already gone up for a free kick or corner, I can't remember which, and he crossed the ball in. And for Sakho to finish from about 25 yards out, it was an excellent finish and a debut goal for him, which was great work. Very happy for him. Last couple of minutes of the game, and a 3 points which we'd have struggled to work, and we showed a lot of character out there. Not doing my Brendan Rodgers impression, but there was a lot of character in that second half to for us to push on and get that win. So very happy tonight. We currently sit fourth in the Premier League. Champions League places. Anybody fancy that? I certainly would. A long way to go, obviously. 3 games gone. 6 points under the belt with Chelsea away next season. Then we've got a international break after that. So we're very well placed. Started the season well. If we can get something from Chelsea, I'll be even happier. But I'm sure a lot of fans out there are very happy with how things have gone so far. Signings have acclimatised quite well. The only downside is that I hear that Wickham's out for a couple of weeks after a knock in the Arsenal game, but he did get a bit of treatment in that one. But anyway, thanks for watching. I've rambled on enough. Hope you've stuck with me. We will do more of these during the season. So thanks very much from Jim and myself for watching. Palace Fan TV will be here all season. Again, subscribe, click below, share on social media everywhere. If you want to get in touch with me or at the Eagles Beak on Twitter, Jim as well on Twitter, and Palace Fan TV here or on the comment section underneath. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you same time next week. Thanks.